Amigos de la gente 305, nos acompaña Laura King en directo desde Inglaterra, en Royal Ascot, para hablar un poco más sobre lo que es la semana de Royal Ascot en Inglaterra. Laura, as always, it's such a pleasure to have you here in Agentes 305. We are ready to rock and roll from Royal Ascot this week, right?
Yeah, we're ready. We've just been at the official pre-Ascot event, which is the London sale in Kensington Gardens, which is lovely. Good to see plenty of US-based trainers there. Jose D'Angelo was there, Wesley Ward was there. So it feels like we're very much ready to get underway now.
So it's going to be 5 days of crazy. Oh, before talking about that, like the golf sale itself was crazy enough. Like the Prince Diane winner just bought back to the owners. Tell us a little bit about all those different results.
Yeah, it was plenty of drama, a lot of excitement. It went on for some time, but ultimately the owner breeder, Mr. Dubois, decided he didn't want to part with her, so he brought her back. Whether or not she's gone in a private sale since, I'm not quite sure. We don't have confirmation on that, but certainly the 8.1 proved to be the owner buying her back.
So you had been going around different stables and areas. There's going to be 8 different Grade 1 stakes this week. Of the different horses that you have seen so far, which are the ones that have caught your attention the most?
Well, it's really exciting, and I think, as is often the case, the best race of the meeting is possibly the first race. Very much looking forward to tomorrow's Queen Anne. The favourite is Chaldine. I'm not sure he should be favourite really over Factor Cheval, who's constantly performed at the top level and beat some very good horses in the Dubai Turf when we last saw him. So that race looks really interesting. And then the one everyone's talking about is the clash of the Guineas winners. Of course, Notable Speech, Rosalian and Metropolitan in the St James's Palace Stakes. So they look the two races to get really excited about on day one. And then, of course, we've got the King Charles Stakes as well, and a bit of Australian interest there in the lovely mare Asphora. So day one, for the purists, for the real racing fans, it's the best day of the meeting.
Of all the different horses, would you say that Big Epps in the King Charles is actually the one to beat?
Yes and no. The only concern with him is whenever he's taken on his elders before, as he did in the Nunthorpe last year, he was quite well beaten. But I was there when he won at York. He was giving weight away. His trainer was very happy with him. So, yes, you're right. He is the one to beat, but he's certainly not infallible. And I think it is actually quite an open race.
In the case of the St. James Palace Stakes, Notable Speech, Rosalion, Metropolitan, who's your pick if you had to choose one, just one of those three?
Oh, it's very tricky. Probably Rosalian, just because he's done it a couple of times now. I know he didn't beat a Notable Speech, but he's got the consistency. So I think probably him. Look, Richard Hannon thinks he's one of the best he's trained, if not the best he's trained. So that's good enough for me.
So on Wednesday, I think there's going to be two high competitions. Obviously, the Prince of Wales. We were expecting that rematch between White Birch and August Rodin. Sadly, White Birch is not going to run because of the blood results weren't as expected. So August Rodin versus Lord North and in Spiral. What's your thinking about this race with these different horses and your sentiment about Lord North?
They're all on a comeback mission, aren't they? In Spiral last time, I think John Gosden was pretty open before the race that she'd just taken a little bit more time to get her where he wanted to. This spring, she should be bang on tomorrow. But Auguste Rodin, for his stallion career, how many more defeats can he afford? Not many, perhaps not any. He will be absolutely spot on for that race. He has got to be the one to beat. Lord North, though, I heard a couple of little whispers. I was in Newmarket last week and I heard some whispers that he was maybe working very, very well. He is no 20-1 shot, is he? That's a crazy, crazy price for him. But it certainly looks an interesting race, but Auguste Rodin should be the one, surely. Surely he doesn't lose this one.
And obviously, I need to talk with you about the Windsor Castle Stakes, just because all the attention around the Gabaldon horses, as you know, Jose D'Angelo, that you met him back in from the Dubai World Cup in the 25th edition, that he brings this horse that won the Royal Palm Stakes back in Gulfstream Park. He's going to be ride by Jaramillo, which is a Venezuelan jockey that also it's riding in South Florida in Gulfstream Park. You saw the horse last week. What's your take on the horse? How do you see him adapting to the Newmarket weather and the conditions?
I love how relaxed this horse is. He's so chilled out. He's going out in the mornings on his own. He's pretty much living on his own. He's at the National Stud, home of Stradivarius, but of course he's not stabled near him. He's in his own little yard, and he is so chilled out. The two guys with him, Jesus and Angel, are really chilled out as well. I think it's rubbed off on the horse. He's a lovely stamp of a horse. I'm excited that he's here. Jose's ability and willingness to travel horses, I think, is brilliant. And he's around 14-1. I'd say that's fair because this race is an absolute lottery. It's a cavalry charge of these youngsters. They go flat out, and every year, it's a very, very hard race to pick the winner of. Probably one of the hardest of the week. So I like him in there. I love the way he battled when he won at Gulfstream. I thought he showed a lot of tenacity. Jose says he's got the mind of an older horse, and that certainly seems to be the case. But it's just that it's such a tough spot for any horse, not just for him, having taken in the travel and all of that.
Yeah, definitely. This is a horse with a game. He's going to be competing against 27 other horses. This is a field of 28, eight more than the Kentucky Derby. So we're talking about a lot of horses running at the same time in five furlongs.
It's absolutely crazy, isn't it? It's a mad race to watch. I'm looking forward to it, and I really hope that the US horses show up well. But I say it's a tough one.
And the last race that I wanted to discuss with you is one of the great ones that I think is very interesting is the Gold Cup that is going to be in Thursday. Although the declaration hasn't been out yet, to my understanding, I know that Tower of London and Crepius they may put a very interesting show on this race.
Yeah, it is interesting, isn't it? I don't know for sure that Tower of London runs. Kyprios definitely runs. He is the one to beat here. I've had him for right since the start of the season. I know he's coming back from injury and stuff. I was like, Kyprios should just win this. Everything has gone well, as we understand, with his preparation. I love Coltrane. I'd be a big Coltrane fan. But Kyprios has probably got slightly more in his armour at this top level. He's the banker of the week for many people. He's probably the banker of the week as well, which might be a bit boring. But I love the horse, and a second Gold Cup is well within his scope.
How is the weather so far? What's the forecast for this week at Royal Ascot?
Do you know what? I can't believe it. I love the weather. I like the sort of weather you have over there, and it is blue skies. I'll tilt the camera up. Look,
Whoa, wow.
Blue skies are not something we see very much here in England. It's going to be nice all week, around about 21 degrees. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but very, very happy about the weather. So they put a little bit of water on the ground. They're just trying to maintain good to firm, safe, fast summer racing ground. So that's good news for the Americans.
Well, thank you very much, Laura. We wish you all the best this week. I know that you're going to be on spot every single day of the 5 days. Enjoy the Royal Ascot, and we are very pleased to always have your support, but also be part of Agentes 305 on all these different special coverage.
Thank you. Pleasure to speak to you as always.